It's kind of official. I have never been able to palm a vacuum tube amplifier like this before. Hi, I'm ConvinceMeAudio. Welcome to ConvinceMeAudio. This is the Cayin HA2A vacuum tube amplifier Class A single-ended unit review. This is part of their stack that has been released over the last year, encompassing their streamer and also their solid-state headphone amplifier and their DAC, tube-based DAC, the iDAC8. This is their 888 plus 2 series, which comprises of 4 units, starting with this very first unit. This thing is a little baby, oh my goodness. As you can see, this unit is very small, but there is a story here. This set of products have been designed for those of you who have never entered the tube hobby. The tube hobby is a rabbit hole. It's complicated and there are a myriad of problems that can occur. And once you start a conversation with an enthusiast where tubes are concerned, it is extremely easy to get lost, confused, and genuinely baffled, because tubes are all different. Voltages are all different. They don't all work together. Sometimes you need adapters. Sometimes you need a specific type of tube amplifier, whether it will be OTL or solid-state transformer-based or tube-based transformer-based, and it can get quite scary. But that's not how Cayin sees this. Cayin sees this from their discussion with me, is that those people, we are trying to find a door for them that is easy, unencumbered, and straightforward, in the same manner as plugging in a solid state. And I think they've succeeded. This is not really for the true tube enthusiast. This is for the beginners. This unit comes in around £1,300 in the UK. Prices will vary across the world, so please check down below for the latest pricing. And also a special heartfelt thank you to Cayin for sending it in for review, because it wasn't even on my radar. We predominantly don't concentrate on tube amplifiers in this area. As you can see, we have the Levante, the Red October 33 Elite. Those are the types of tube amplifiers I've been reviewing over the last 4 months. All reviews will be out now or will be on the way. This is more of the start in the hobby. Even I was there at 1.2 with a review here, the Amp and Sound Pendant from Zach. This was my tube journey, and it was one of the most glorious moments of hi-fi I have experienced to date. And tube is predominantly used as a daily driver for my reference systems here at CMA. This looks very familiar to some of you, because this is part of their HA line. The HA6A we reviewed here, the HA300 Mark IIs we reviewed here or down below, and this is the HA2A. There's also an HA3A as well that has not come in for review yet. Look at these baby transformers. We'll get onto those in a minute. This is simple, this is straightforward. This is matching their iDAC tube-based DAC and their streamer and their solid-state amplifier if you want to stay in the same family and have everything, solid-state and tube. And it's a wonderful performer. There's a reason why these two very hard summit tier headphone here and this flagship headphone here are on the table. They're notoriously hard to drive. Well, except this one. This one's the Hi-Fi Susvara unveiled, and it's very easy to drive. But I wanted to give you some contrast. Just like other Cayins of the past in the HE line, we have a very stiff, nice volume pot here, which works beautifully. We have a pair of VU meters. I can't believe they put it on this little baby thing. We have a switch here that goes from balanced to single-ended, very clicky, very tactile, very well built and designed, very, very tough tolerances. Love this thing. Then we have 3 headphone outs with their own impedance switch to change as well. So we've got 6.3, 4.4 and 4-pin XLR. And then if I was to look at this unit, we have the impedance, low, medium and high. I hope that's the right way around, because the unit's pointing at you. And then we have obviously 6.3. So the toggle switch will literally hang over the jack to know which one's what. I love this idea. Middle one is for the 4.4 and that one is for 4-pin XLR. I've been using 4.4 a lot. Spinning the unit around, as you can see, if you're familiar with our channel, some of the units we've had here, 30, 40 kilograms. This thing you can palm, it's kind of insane. Power supply, I think this is not region locked, fortunately. Balanced out, single-ended out. This is predominantly a single-ended vacuum tube amplifier, Class A, so this is for convenience sake. Spinning the unit around like so. That's the hardware. Let's jump onto the sound. As you can see, this is their IDAC 8 or -8 that sits underneath the unit. And then you've got their streamer and solid state you can put next to it if you want to stay within the same family like I mentioned earlier. I just want to put it on top because just to show you how beautiful it looks together. And this DAC, as you can see in the IDAC -8 review here, it's very, very functional. It's got a lot of digital inputs and it also can act as a pre if you decide to use that with your studio monitors, so it can be very versatile. There's one thing I forgot to mention on the HA2A, which is the power switch, which is on the side. So be aware of this. If you have this next to a wall or something, that could be problematic. But this thing is so light and so maneuverable. Look, I'm just wiggling it around. I'm just not used to vacuum tube amplifiers performing like this and being able to be maneuvered like this. So this is a win. This is a Faraday cage, which also comes off, or it should do, if you lift like that. We have one rectification tube here, which couples with a transformer, obviously. We have a pair of power tubes and we have a pair of input tubes. The tubes in this unit, we have 5 of them, are NOS tubes from the 1950s from Amplifiers. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Full specification of the tubes down here for the rectification, for the input and for the output. But this tube amplifier, for the enthusiast among you, I'm not sure could be rolled. I don't think this amplifier is designed for that purpose. This amplifier is designed for those newcomers who are not too familiar with the hobby and just want a unit that works and that sounds good and that they don't need to worry about, and they can just switch on like a solid state amplifier without any worries. And I think this is where Cayin have succeeded. But these tubes, I am pretty sure, can be taken out. I've not actually tried because I didn't have any other tubes to roll with. But I think the enthusiast amongst you might find adapters and certain things to make this unit roll. You know who you are. You know the tweakers and those of you. But for those of you who are really unfamiliar with this territory of tube amplifiers, you don't need to worry about such things. So without long delay, let's talk about the sound. This tube amplifier, paired with either the IDAC, which I advise, or the Holo Audio Cayin 2 review here, have been given a fantastic performance. So predominantly, I'm going to review this amplifier with its own partner DAC, the IDAC-8. This unit was the saving grace for the Lyric 2, as you will see in the Lyric 2 review. It's soft, it's laid back, it's hard-hitting, and quite honestly, these transformers designed by Cayin, these new ones, are better than the HA6A. Come at me, bro, and fight me. Yes, the HA6A is a more versatile amp with KT88 and EL34 switching, with triode and linear mode, yes. And tube rolling, yeah, that's the amp for you enthusiasts. But as a performer, for hard-to-drive planars like Tungsten or original Susvaras or Susvara Unveiled, I'm sorry, this utterly beats that tube amplifier, hands down, at half the price and at probably a fraction of the weight. That thing was well over 19.5 kilograms. It's huge. This beats it. For electronic music like Infected Mushroom and Monster Cat, I honestly had no qualms about worrying about this unit. I literally just came off the Ferrum stack, the Ore, the Hypsos and Wandler over there. This is competition to that at a third of the price. Yes, not as detailed, but most certainly an alternative other end of the seesaw for that system. Having these two baby systems or just the amplifier alongside that system, I think will serve you very well. It drives Tungsten DS very nicely. So if you spent all your money on your Tungsten DS, this will do a good enough job to actually give you that. But okay, Susvara's an $8,000 headphone, the unveiled, on a baby stack like this. Normally the stacks like this is what we use over there, the reference system. That's a 180K system, probably the highest audio system in hi-fi in the industry. Yeah, of course it's gonna upscale there. But what if you've put all of your money into the unveiled, but you want something small, portable? I'm talking about moving around your home, not taking outside. I mean, you probably could add a pair of wheels to this. This is enough. And I've got to stop touching those tubes. This unit has been a surprise for me from Cayin. This, not only is it lighter, smaller, but for electronic music and for real music. It's a gentle, tubey tube listen. It's a lush listen. It's a laid back listen. It doesn't concentrate predominantly on detail into your brain. It concentrates on organic characteristics, holographic stage, presence and vocals and weight. Yes, it drives Tungstens decently. It drives lyric too, so that you can actually listen to those headphones and enjoy without wanting to rip out your eardrums. It drives unveiled nicely. Listening to Pirates of the Caribbean by Hans Zimmer, listening to Inception soundtrack, listening to soundtracks from Star Wars, and some of his other works for gaming, like Battlefield. I've been actually testing a lot of tracks from games. It provides weight, stage is wide, deep and open. You've got some height. For those of us who are really used to high resolution, like the Wandler, for example, on the firm stack or higher systems, yes, this will come across a little soft, a little grainy. But for those of you who are climbing up the ladder, you're coming away from the top-in stacks and from the SMSL stacks and trying to build your first tube system, this will blow your freaking mind. And I think it's quite affordable and you can reach for it. You can listen to all genres without any worry. This has a tendency to mellow headphones such as the HiFiMan HE1000 SE, where the treble region is horrific, and on this is soft, gentle, giving you a huge grandiose stage for classical music. Very present vocals, so it sounds quite realistic. I have been really impressed by this. This HA2A does even better when you put better DACs on it, like the Cayin 2. I think the Cayin 2 is more technical than the IDAC. This is a AKM chip-based system on the new chips that they have designed, the AK4191 something. Scrolling down the screen now, I really can't remember. It's their latest chip. Obviously their factory's burnt down, so they've just started again. Their new chips are a trifactor of a chip in 3 separate layers. Full in-depth article will be down below in case you're interested, but together they synergize really well. What are the problems with this tube amplifier, even for you beginners? Well, if you're a detail, this is not for you. This is for real organic music that is tubey goodness. If you're looking to roll the tubes, this is not really designed for you, but these tubes in this, honestly, I've put 1,000 hours on it. I did not do this review off the cuff. This has been here for a few months and is fantastic. But the unit gets very hot, especially with the IDAC. Like very hot. So hot that I wouldn't leave it on at night at all. You never should with tubes, but just in case, I wouldn't leave the office for a couple of hours, go out of the house and leave it on. Don't do that. It gets so hot that actually I don't think you could put the palm of your hand against it and leave it there for more than 5 seconds. So that should be a good enough indicator for you. But it's simple, it's straightforward, and it's beautiful. View meters and everything. Nice volume pot, quite well balanced. The architecture, the transformers, they have done a wonderful job. So let's do some comparisons. IDAC HA2A versus OR and Wandler. Even if you don't have the Hypsos, you're going for that system versus this, that will set you back $5,000, I think. And this will set you back probably $2,600, half the price. With that system minus the Hypsos, OR suffers. This performs better for planars, current drive amplification, Tungsten for voltage. It will give you a far better performance. You need the Hypsos with that system to attempt to power headphones the way this does. That's already a win for this. Yes, the firm stack is more detailed and I think the resolution is quite a bit higher. But when you're in tube mode, mentally, second order harmonic distortion, like a liquid cognac for the soul. Those of you who are used to tubes know exactly what I'm talking about. For musicality, this wins hands down. You can take the ore and hypsos with a Wandler to high levels. It's a higher end system. But if you take out the hypsos, and if you're trying to save money, this is the system that should be on your desk for tubes. I don't think there is anything in the industry right now that beats this in this price category for this tube setup like this, that can drive planars as well as this does. I've put Utopia on it. Honestly, listening to Susvara unveiled on this system, I have not gone, let me go back. Once the first 5 minutes is over in my head because of that reference system over there or the systems over there, I completely forget where I am. And I just wish I had a system like this in 2017 when I first got into headphones and left the speaker world behind, because this would have cost me 5 or 6 grand in them days. You guys who are new to the hobby don't know how good you have it. We are in a renaissance right now. Ergonomics, price point, performance, headphone compatibility, mellowing out headphones with problems. It's versatile. The impedance matching for your specific headphones, though predominantly for me, has always been on the middle one, right here. I've never really needed low or high. I always like the middle one. Has been the best experience I've had. It doesn't break the bank, and you can put all of your money into your transducers and your headphones and be okay for a good few years. The NOS tubes in this have been very carefully picked. They are traditional, old school vacuum tubes, measured really well. They do not put random tubes in this unit. Every set is measured perfectly to match, and then they put it in their systems. They have a very vast inventory, I'm pretty sure, and also their new transformers are kicking ass. I pick this over the old HA6A. Just let that sink in. Well done, Cayin. 5 tigers out of 5 from me. From functionality, versatility, simple design, simple usage, though it gets quite toasty, but I think predominantly that toastiness comes from the IDAC, which I need to yell about a little bit. It sounds very good with the IDAC, and it upscales with better DACs. If you like reviews such as these, and if you have questions, put it in the comment section down below, or come into the private Telegram chat over at CMA on Patreon, where I can answer you in person via voice and give you in-depth answers, which I can't get to in the YouTube section, as you can imagine. If you can't do that, your like, your share, and your subscription is all I require from you. You should definitely be considering this. Until the next one.